Men must be born again of the Father. They must return to the Father, because until they return to the Father, the woman will rule. And as you know, every time you listen to the woman, you're going to suffer. A man has no business listening to a woman, unless he listen to her about evil, because women of their nature being evil until they are born again of the Father, they can pick up evil all the time. So the man can hear, oh, you better watch out for that woman, or you better watch out for this. But other than that, a man should never take advice from a woman. He will always suffer.
Many of you that's been following me for a while, you remember that old clip from this guy sitting there with Lance Winnell talking crazy about women, and if you listen to a woman, you're going to suffer. Well, this message right here is talking about women are under attack from evangelicals and attack from men in general, and many of them are just going right along for the ride. So let's take a little trip down memory lane here to listen to some of these people that call themselves evangelicals. And then I got a little treat for you to show you this clip of this old commercial to show you where we are as I bring it all together. Let's take a look.
In a nutshell, in general, I don't want to see women in the public sphere. You mean they shouldn't hold political office? Correct. You mean you don't want to see them podcasting? Correct. Well, but what about in the marketplace, with, 9 to 5, careers? No, not that either. Like, I don't want to see women holding positions in the public square. I don't.
Where women don't have the right to vote. And it looks like a society where boys and girls get married as teenagers and start having kids, and they don't use birth control, and they don't use contraceptives, and they have big families and a high birth rate. And it looks like women wearing veils at church. And it looks like women not being in the workforce.
So many of you seen them old clips. Those of you that are new, these are people that profess to be Christians. These are people hate. The one guy's a pastor, Pastor Webbin. He's a hate pastor. These people, I would love to see the congregation and the types of people that go to a church like that. And along with his wife, I would love to see how they are and be a fly on the wall with these people. But anyway, these people, as you see, that you have right now in society, the sexism, the misogynist, all of that at an all-time high. And for some reason or another, evangelical women that call themselves believers are just okay with this idea of no. You don't need to have a career. No, keep your mouth shut. No, we want no birth control. No, you have plenty of babies until I tell you to stop, until your womb busts open. I mean, these people, and it's not okay for you if you decide to just want to be a wife and want to have a family and stay home if you can afford it, because these people, a lot of them, these messengers and things that you see on the internet, even these young ones, they got multiple kids, wives don't work, but they get on the internet and have a false ministry and lie on the Lord. It'd be one thing if you out here doing a hard day's work and putting in a hard day's work, honest labor, but these folks, this is despicable, because what they doing is, I call them deadbeats, deadbeat parents. Anybody that sits there and knowingly set up and grifting, knowingly taking advantage of people online because of the digital age, knowingly using Christ's name for gain, knowingly doing this and sitting there and don't work at all, and you want to have all of these, want the people to support your family, your mortgage, your rent, your lifestyle. And unfortunately, there's foolish people out here that do it. So let's look at this old commercial, because I didn't mean to talk that long, but let's look at this commercial so you can see that the mindset. I want you to, what's your opinion on this commercial? Take a listen.
What has happened to American women? In the last few years, a big change has taken place. When a man escorts his wife to the theater, chances are she is as lovely as any of the stars who appear on the screen. Beauty contest judges could find a winner in almost any block in any neighborhood of the land. and all the others would be runners-up. Modern kids are faced with the fact that the old-style grandmother they've heard so much about is no more. All this is hard on the historians. It makes it tough to pick out the reigning beauties of the age. There was a time when it was easy. Only the queens were beautiful. Look at Cleopatra, Helen of Troy, Josephine, Marie Antoinette. Why is it that the average woman of today can compete with the queens of yesteryear? Is it because of beauty parlors, modern cosmetics? No, the answer is something like this. While the queens and duchesses of long ago were working at being beautiful, the rest of womankind was tied down, keeping her home going. She didn't have much to work with but her hands and her back. If she ever had beauty, it didn't last long. These days, a woman can get the work done by using her head instead of her back. And it's a lot easier on her looks. She now uses her hands to guide and control appliances that do all the work. Most of the old energy-consuming hand operations are on the way out. Even ironing, the most persistent hand chore left, can be a matter of guide and control on a modern automatic ironer. Yes, it was drudgery that robbed women of loveliness and made beauty the private possession of queens. The iron-right automatic ironer was invented to banish this old form of drudgery and preserve modern-day beauty. Compare it. Look for its exclusive patented features.
Call your local iron-right dealer for a free home demonstration.
Interesting, isn't it? Beauty, ironing, homemaker. And hey, as I mentioned, for some that's great, but you know, I have a daughter, and I'm not going to stop my daughter because I have this mindset, this warped mindset that women somehow needs to be put in their place and that we need to go back to the days of old. And no, you do not get to pursue your dreams. You know, my auntie, many of you know my auntie that passed away in January, and she died at the age of 90 and grew up in that old school era where she did not get to live out any type of dream. She had to drop out of school when she was like 11 years old or somewhere in there, 4th or 5th grade, to take care of family because a family member, her grandmother was sick and had to be the homemaker then and take care of the family. And I just remember her telling me how that's never really having the ability because she didn't have the finances, the education, the money, and the things just to even live out any type of dream that she had. And she always talked about that. You know, that's sad. And don't you sit up here, if you are a woman, and let some knucklehead, self-righteous evangelical try to tell you to get back in the kitchen and iron my clothes, get my meal ready, and you keep your mouth shut. And when I'm ready for sex, you give it up. And give it to me whenever I want. And I don't care how you're feeling. I don't care anything. And I'm just going to tell it like it is, because you know we do that on the channel. Because yes, the Bible talks about when you're married and not giving yourself to one another so that, you know, that temptation and all of these things may not come into play. But at the same time, if your old lady, if your wife, if she ain't feeling well and sick, who are you? I mean, how selfish of you to not contain your flesh and to sit up there and take advantage of her or make her do things sexually that she's uncomfortable with. And that's because you are finding yourself getting into a different type of, some of this stuff is flat out perversion for some of these people. But this is what these folks want, many of these people, this movement. And then they put people out there, this TPA USA and the Kirks and them put this out there that women need to, you need to value family and basically get back in the kitchen. But then at the same time, you have people like Erica, where she's got degrees and like she's working on degrees and get to pursue a professional career. So it's hypocrisy, is what it is. No, you pursue your dreams. If the Lord has placed, there's plenty of work to do in society, in the ministry, talents, anything that God has given us. I mean, it's amazing. He's given us, I mean, what do you want? I mean, you know what? Let me show you this clip right here of him talking about Vincent James, talking about what a world would be like if only men got to vote. Take a listen.
It's the same thing with giving women the right to vote. Look at the graphs. I'm just saying, look at the graphs, look at the statistics on there. Look at how the country would be if only men voted versus what the country would be like if only women voted.
You know, it would be very interesting. What do you think? Put it in the comments. What do you think a world would look like with only men voting and being placed in power of sorts and having women having no influence? Afghanistan 2.0 is what I've talked about it, because many of these evangelicals, this evangelical movements that you see, these folks that claim to be Christian, all of these organizations, is nothing but a modern version of the American Taliban is what it is. And it wants to take women and brush them to the side, take people of color, all colors, brush them to the side, and make a society that's totally back decades ago. We're in a dangerous place spiritually because it's happening within the churches, and these evangelicals and these many churches are silent, pastors are silent, and people are sitting back, and we don't be silent on this particular channel because we call it out. We shine the spotlight on it and talk about issues the church run away from, tackle Satan and his tactics, punch him right in between the chops. Evangelism for God's the channel. My name is Maurice Braxton. Until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.